The Raven Tome and Triangle Adept combo is a popular staple among mage builds. In this video, I will cover what you need to know so that you understand how to build around this setup, why it works, and how you can counter it. If you're a newer player, then you need to understand that this build focuses around the Fire Emblem weapon triangle. Simply put, some types of weapons do more damage and receive less damage when fighting another type of weapons they are strong against. In Fire Emblem Heroes, the weapon triangle simply follows a three-color system. Red is strong against green, green is strong against blue, and blue is strong against red. There are also colorless units, and these are neither strong nor weak against any of the three main colors. Raven Tomes are here to change that. Raven Tomes grants the user weapon advantage over colorless units, so now you can deal more damage and take less damage when you fight them. You can inherit these tomes from Henry for the red Raw Raven Tome, Male Robin for the blue Blah Raven Tome, and Cecilia for the green Gran Raven Tome. So it's great to have weapon advantage over colorless units now, but that's not good enough just yet. By adding the Triangle Adept A skill, we can amplify the effectiveness of the weapon triangle. This means we add an additional 20% to the weapon triangle's advantage multiplier, which is already set at a base 20%. Keep in mind that our mages still hold the color advantage over one type they are strong against. Now, with a Raven Tome and Triangle Adept, they are really strong against two types of units, but are also super weak to the color that they already have a disadvantage against. This build works, assuming you pick the right fights. Before continuing with the build, I'm going to show you just how powerful Triangle Adept can be. Now, there will be a little bit of math, but don't worry, I'll try to make it short and point out the important numbers only. In my situation, we will use Spring Camilla and Brave Lyn. Brave Lyn will be initiating an attack, and I will give her a plus attack nature and take into account the added damage from her default Swift Sparrow. A neutral Spring Camilla will have 39 HP, 46 attack, and 30 defense. Our buffed up Lyn will have 35 HP, 54 attack, and 28 resistance. Now keep in mind Spring Camilla is a flyer, so Brave Lyn will gain the effective against multiplier, which is a powerful 1.5 times of her attack stat. This is not the same as the weapon triangle, as archers do not have any weapon advantage because they are colorless. The weapon triangle advantage multiplier is again a plus 20% to a unit's attack with the advantage, and a minus 20% if they are at a disadvantage. Triangle Adept 3 will tack on an additional 20% to both cases. First off, without a Raven Tome or Triangle Adept, Brave Lyn will deal an immense 51 damage, thus killing Camilla. Now, with a Raven Tome only, Brave Lyn's attack stat will be reduced by that minus 20% from the weapon triangle advantage Spring Camilla now has. Brave Lyn now only deals 35 damage. Spring Camilla lives this time with 4 HP, and the yellow numbers represent her counterattack. She will deal 27 damage back to Brave Lyn. Unfortunately, Brave Lyn vastly outspeeds Spring Camilla and will deal out another attack, killing her again. Now, with our Raven Tome and Triangle Adept equipped, Brave Lyn deals only 19 damage. In a turn of events, Spring Camilla's counterattack actually KOs Brave Lyn, just barely. I use Spring Camilla as an example to showcase that even when you give the colorless unit a 1.5 times effectiveness attack bonus, the power of Triangle Adept will massively reduce the amount of damage taken. Now let's apply this same situation to our regular mages who won't be granting Lyn any sort of effective against multiplier. You can see that a regular mage who also has 30 defense will take almost no damage when they use the full setup. I also have a mage who only has 15 defense, which is paper thin, and they do still take quite a lot of damage. Keep in mind that despite the damage reduction from Triangle Adept, you want to make sure your Raven Tome mage has at least a decent amount of defense. Continuing with the guide, let's discuss what else you should be looking for if you want to create a Raven Tome build. We want mages with good defense, at least for a mage, and a decent amount of attack. As I already showed, more defense still means less damage taken, and this build is focused on taking down bows and dagger users. We want a high enough attack so that the unit will be able to at least get some one-shot kills against low-res enemies. Now some people will want to use this build on any mage, and I would say it can work just because of the power it brings in the right situations. However, there are still other options out there such as Blade Tomes or a hero's own legendary weapon. You lose a lot of value if there are no colorless units to face, and a Blade Tome would be the better choice in those cases. This setup is a compromise of offense and defense, but only when you have an advantageous fight. You can use mages with low speed because that usually means those stat points are put into their attack, defense, or resistance. Remember, you will be taking very little damage, but also take note that you will be charging the enemy specials faster, and they can potentially punch through your Triangle Adept. Some low speed mages who I think are decent candidates for a Raven Tome are Sophia, Reinhardt, and Cecilia herself. While choosing the right hero to use is important, the B skill slot also plays a big role in this combo. Breaker skills are very good since they can neutralize a specific weapon type and allow your mage to most likely kill them thanks to the guaranteed follow-up. Bow Breaker is really good since this build is mainly meant to neutralize high attack archers. Dagger Breaker isn't really useful at the moment, but that can change in the future. Choosing either Sword, Lance, or Axe Breaker means your mage can now have a strong advantage over melee units. Choose the same color as your mage if you want more enemy type coverage, or choose the already weaker color to ensure total destruction. This can also mean your mage will most likely be able to tank 1 to 2 hits from these melee units. Red, blue, and green tone breakers are great options if your team lacks magical protection. You will be able to at least fend off against one other color mage really well. I would recommend at least having another mage counter since this still leaves you open to other mages that hold the weapon advantage over your triangle adept. If you want a general skill and choose a slower mage, then Quick Riposte will at least let you double attack any ranged enemies. I would personally choose a breaker skill, but Quick Riposte would be good if there are multiple types of ranged threats, and you need to ensure your unit can kill them in one round. So there are quite a lot of weaknesses to this combo, and the main one is the color of the units who already have the advantage over your mage's color. Your unit will deal very little damage to them, and will most likely get one shot if you let them take a hit from the wrong color. Cancel Affinity, while a rare skill, is literally made to counter this build. It has a very complicated description, but all you need to know is that it negates the Triangle Adept multipliers, so you are in trouble. Innis is currently the only colorless unit that comes with Cancel Affinity by default, so make sure you check his skills if you see him. Using a Raven Tone means you are betting that you will gain a huge advantage over colorless units, and you really gain no benefits if they are not present. You should not expect to see this combo work well in every situation. While most times there are a variety of colors in the enemy ranks, this wet unit will become somewhat useless once these advantageous fights run out. Dancer Inigo is a popular user for this combo because he can admirably counter Brave Lyn with Bow Breaker and Reinhardt due to his green color. If he can't fight anyone well, then he can still fall back on dancing to support his team. Now this combo is nothing special to veteran players, but if you're a newer player to the game, then I hope you learned something useful. It is especially good if you're struggling to deal with archers. I also think it's a fun build that definitely is dependent on your whole team composition. A mage with this combo has the potential to be effective against many types of weapons, but they are extremely weak if they have to fight the wrong units. Making sure you understand the weapon triangle and how it can affect combat is key to progressing against harder content, as well as finding success in the arena. At the end of the day, you still have 3 other team members, and finding the right combination of units and skills is what can help you out a lot. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you subscribe to learn more about the game, and I will see you guys in the next Fire Emblem Heroes Guide.